Unto thee lift I mine eyes, O thou that dwellest in the heavens. Behold, as the eyes of servants look unto the hand of their masters, and as the eyes of a maiden unto the hands of her mistress, so our eyes wait upon the I am our God, until that he have mercy upon us. Have mercy upon us, O I am. Have mercy upon us, for we are exceedingly filled with contempt. Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorning of those that are at ease, and with the contempt of the proud. Psalms chapter 123. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. All praises to him who holds all eternity. He who fills all things. He who is all in all. Yes, our deliverer. Without him there is no Savior. And we thank the Most High. Yes, and we thank the Most High for you, and you. And also we thank God for those of you that have been with us from the beginning. Yes, and those of you who have been with us here and there's about, and those of you who are about to subscribe, as well as those of you that have just subscribed. We thank God for you calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we're in the last chapter of 1 Chronicles chapter 29 as you prepare. And we thank God for you. Yes. We see the world and how it's changing. We see the world and how, have you ever noticed the vision of Daniel with the idol of Nebuchadnezzar? I mean, the idol that he saw in his dreams in Daniel, I believe it's chapter 7. But the fact is that defeat, we thought we were in defeat by the Christian standard, but if you think about it, we still was in the Greco-Roman system as far as global domination, or some call it white supremacy, or whatever you want to call it. Yes, those were going on ever since Babylon. Now it's to the point where, how is God getting rid of this? Money. Precious stones. God is shifting the riches. When you shift the riches, you shift the power on this planet. Yes, you shift the power. Although they will still follow the Greco-Roman system as far as morality and all these other things that go on, lawlessness. But the fact is, when it comes to power, each nation shall have its own. They shall be sovereign in their own right. No one ruling over them. But then this is going to cause a great, should I say, hatred toward God. And that every man is going to think that he's done this of his own accord. Except for those who know better. You ask yourself, why is these things going on? It's in the plan. It's in the plan. Your redemption, as far as what God has planned for you, O Israel, it is near. It is near. Yes, it is. It's very much near. And this is a rejoicing of heart in this new year, this new month of Abib. Yes, it is a rejoicing of the heart that it's drawing nearer to where the government of our president, our king, yes, our creator, is going to take over and take his rightful place. He's giving it over to others. God tells you to be humble. Would not he set the same example? Yes, he's humble. When Israel said, we desire a king like all the other nations. What God says, okay, no problem. Samuel gets upset and he says, no, they don't reject you, they're rejecting me. For the kingdom of God, he sends his messengers, we call angels, spirits. They're spirits sent by God for different things, whether they be good or whether they be evil. spirits. I mean, we take the norm of the heathen and say that, oh, they're angels. We don't understand what a spirit is. And angels, spirits of God are what we call angels. They're really spirits of the Most High. The spirits of the Most High. Can you say spirits of the Most High? Yes, we can. We can say spirits of the Most High. And when they are sent with a message, then they become, as the English word put it, angels. They're neither men nor women. No, they're not. They're not. God is neither man nor woman. But the masculine side of God, law, authority, just strictness, and also compassion and understanding. Now, you say you call yourself feminine. God gives these things to the woman, this nurturing spirit. Not only to the woman, but to every female in different species. They care for their young. It's in them to do it. They nurture. It's in them to do it. You have to understand this, man. The woman that you choose to be your wife, she will nurture. She's in her own right a mother. God put it in her. Not that God is a woman or feminine, whatever you want to call it. No, God does not have a uterus, neither does he have those things that women have. But he created them for reproduction, even that of a cow or a dog or a goat or a sheep, elephant. In the same man, the man gives. The woman receives. She takes it and she brings it forth, and it blesses all. Now we have to really tell ourselves that. You're no special than the man, woman. Oh yeah, you've been put down by men. Men have done you bad, but so have women done this to men. They have toppled whole nations. Because you even look at some of the things, Dollywood or Mollywood, whatever you want to call it, you see how the woman acts so bad. These are Arabs. These women that you see coming out of Nigeria, they are really the pure Arabs. They are. They're the pure Arabs. You wonder, how do I know? Ask me that later, and I will direct you where I get my information from. But either way, all of the Sahel and not Mali. Mali is different, but Burkina Faso, all up in all these areas. All of these were once the ancient Arabs in that peninsula they call the Arabian Peninsula. They're Babylon. They're all these people. They have fled from that area. God has made the people that you see there now, their ancestors were servants to these people. Do not they act out what their ancestors have did? Look, just watch. Go to Nigeria. Notice the people and their demeanor and how they do things. No different than the Babylonians, the Persians. No different. They love having people serve them. They have more servants than even in the United States. They have people serving them in their compounds and all these things. I mean, they're the same people, but they serve them to make a wage. They love nice things, cars and decorations, and love to be adorned with precious stones and all these things, even more so than those all over the world. Notice them. And history will tell you something about them. And it's nothing that is real evil, it's just the way they were. But God has made the head the tail, and the tail the head. These were reds, they were clients, they called them. But then they will try to fool you into, maybe a few of them are over in Medina and they say these are Hooter. No, they're the same people that's around the Nigerian area, what they call Nigeria. They're not Nigerians. Nigerian is a colonizer construct. That's all it is. Even the word Africa. No, you're not. If you say you're a Nigerian, then you become a slave. It's time to change. Be that of your tribe. Yes, be that of your tribe, not that of the colonizer construct. If you want to name the land a different name in order to have your own ownership of this land, then you name that land that way. I understand Mr. Malema and why he wanted to rename South Africa. I understand why they wanted to rename the streets of Burkina Faso and Mali and different parts, even over there, and where they do I like the wrestling. Senegal, yes. Senegal. I like how they do that in Senegal. I like the wrestling. It sort of reminds you of sumo wrestling in a way. You wonder. But nevertheless, we're in the 29th chapter of First Chronicles. First Chronicles chapter 29. Yes. That part of the country is very interesting. Now we have to come back to this part of it. Did you know that? Now we have to really consider. Look at the map. Look at your map. How all these lands fit so closely together. You have South America, which was connected to West Africa and down towards South Africa. Then you have North America, which was more connected to Egypt and around Morocco and different places there. It was all one big landmass before the world was divided. People that got off the boat from Noah, they went everywhere. You wonder how the Australian got to Australia. Not all of them could construct boats. This is not a mystery. It's just a simple item of deduction. There's a puzzle there. Fit it together. You don't need nobody to tell you that. You can do that with a map laying on the bed or on a big table and just take the pieces and cut them out. You take a little X-Acto knife and go around them and take the pieces and fit them together, and you will come out with Pangea. Even the Red Sea during the time of Moses wasn't that big. Things have gotten to where it has really gotten vast now. People could cross the Red Sea near Yemen and what we call to Djibouti. Yes, they can do that. And they could even cross over. How did Moses get from where he was at the first cataract in the land called Sudan, and now he goes over into the land to meet his wife Zipporah before God calls him to service? But God was teaching him before he called him to service. He did not know what he was doing. All he knows that he was taught. He didn't even know God. He became king in that land because he was a great warrior and because he understood the things to do. God gave him that knowledge. Even in the book of Jasher, it tells you how God did this. Many of them would attribute his know-how to Egypt, but that's a lie. It's wrong. God did not teach Moses through Egypt. God taught Moses in that he directed him and he guided him when he was on his way to his kingship in the land of what we call Sudan. And then God called him. Finally, it was time for his showing and for the deliverance of Israel. And then Moses was pushed out because the wife they give him, he did not want. The wife that was supposed to be, he did not even lay with her. He married her, but he did not lay with the woman according to that narrative. And so he went back over to the other side, into the land where the priest Jethro, pagan, yeah, okay. And he married, and this is where his calling came. Moses. Nevertheless, we're in the book of First Chronicles, chapter 29. This is our last chapter. We might take a few days and then come back at you again near the Sabbath or near the bouts or around the Sabbath or on the Sabbath. We might come that way because we're going to come back with the law. We got to come back with the law. So we will come back with the law. Now, it says, furthermore, David, in verse 1, the king said unto all the congregation, Solomon my son, whom alone God hath chosen. is yet young and tender. In other words, this boy can't do, he's a baby. You can throw him and flick him anywhere. And the work is great, for the palace is not for man, but for the I am God. Ya Allah. Now, I have prepared with all my might for the house of my God. In other words, what we were saying in the previous chapters, how David defeated enemies, how David went all about everywhere, and he collected items of gold and silver and all manner of tapestries and woods and everything. He gathered them all and he stored them up to this point. He said, for my gold, the gold for the things to be made of gold. That's verse 2. And the silver for the things of silver, and the brass for the things of brass, and iron for the things of iron, and wood for the things of woods, onyx stones and stones to be set, glistening stones and divers colors, and all manner of precious stones and marble stones in abundance. Yes, God did these things. We don't know what God is culminating to. See, this is the thing. You have to know and understand God in order to understand when things happen in your life, when things happen around you. God, what are you doing? People won't believe you. No, because they can't see what you see. But God says, don't glory in your strength, your might, or your riches, but glory in that you know this, that you understand and know me. This is what God says. Understanding is not saying you're wrong or right. Understanding is saying, I see why you do this. It's not judging God. To know God is saying, I know God because of his law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances. I know God by this. It's not no big running into walls and jumping them down. That's the work of devils. Come on here. Sometimes we was in those churches, we did not know what was taking us over. But me, myself, I used to always pretend because I never really felt nothing. But either way, moreover, because I have set my affections to the house of my God, I have mine own proper good of gold and silver. In other words, I got mine. Don't worry about me, which I have gotten to the house of my God, and over and above all that I have prepared for the holy house. Even 3,000 talents of gold, of the gold of Ophir, and 7,000 talents of refined silver to overlay the walls of the houses withal. The gold, for the things of gold, and the silver for the things of silver, and for all manner of works to be made by the hands of the artificers, and who then is willing to consecrate his service this day unto the eye. God had already picked these people out, just like he did for the first temple. He had already called these people, given them wisdom and understanding in the things that he needed them to do, that he wanted them to do. God can do it himself. Then the chief of the fathers and princes and the tribes of Israel and the captains of thousands and of hundreds, and with all the rulers of the king's works offered willingly. It's something how people will come together for foreseeable cause. But when that cause is not foreseeable, some just like walking into something that's already built. Them you have to really be careful of. But when those who walk into a vision because it's a vision and they see that this vision is good, them the ones you can take into your inner circle. Although they don't see it, they believe it, and they're working toward making it all materialize. Yes. And so, and he gave for the service of the house of God of gold 5,000 talents, and 10,000 drams, and of silver 10,000 talents, and brass 18,000 talents, and 100,000 talents of iron. You know, some of the best steel used to be that was made in Africa. Many of you don't know that. Yes, and they with whom precious stones were found gave them to treasures of the house of the I Am by the hands of Jehiel, or Yehiel, the Gershonite. Then the people rejoiced, for that they offered willingly, because with perfect heart they offered willingly to the I am, and David the king also rejoiced with great joy, just as they did with the first, the portable temple. They gave their earrings, they gave their necklaces, they gave anything that they had spoiled the Egyptians with, just to get gold all over the place. But now, here they go for their magnum opus. Yeah. Therefore David blessed the I am before all the congregation, and David said, Blessed be thou, O I am, that I am God of Israel, our Father, for ever and ever. He said, Israel, our Father. He didn't say the land. He said, Israel, Jacob. Verse 11, Thou, O I am, is the greatness. Yes, he is. And the power and the glory and the victory and the majesty, for all that is in heaven and in earth is thine. Heaven, a realm. Heaven is not the sky. I'm sorry for those of you naysayers and those you that mock. No, heaven is not the sky. That's just what God used to help their understanding, and yours too. But heaven is a realm. It's a place you cannot see, although it's all around you. And a lot of it is in you. Let's get that right. You can know heaven just by listening and reading, if you would just buckle down and read these books and ask God for understanding. And you can understand regular language. I hope you can do that. I mean, there's 5 parts of speech. That's to every language, not just English. There's parts of speech. There are nouns, there are predicates, there are commas, there are places where you can stop and you have to go. Even when they seem like they're run-on sentences in some languages, they have a point where they stop, where the sentence stops, and they understand it perfectly. And then the earth is thine. Thine is the kingdom. Thine is the kingdom. He ain't talking to no Jesus. Whose is the kingdom? It's the I am. He knows, David sees that he's just something used of God because of the ignorance and the rebellion of the people. But who does the kingdom belong to? The kingdom of Israel, the kingdom of the whole earth. It belongs to the Most High Creator. It's spiritual and yet it's finite. This was supposed to be a finite kingdom that represented heaven, or should I say the realm of the Most High, in its laws, in its statutes, in its ordinances. It's not religion. And I'm not sorry. Your religion is in vain. There is no pure religion. But there is the obedience of doing what your king says, or your president, or your leader. If he is God, then you have nothing to worry about. And he don't play. He don't turn no other cheek. He don't love his enemies. He was talking about those who are following the law when they walk beside themselves. Hold up. Let's get this right with you, brother. You having problems. Why are you coveting what I have when you have more? Why are you coveting what I have when you can get what I have? Why are you in my house stealing and breaking up, or wanting to commit adultery with my wife? Or woman, why do you want to commit adultery with, should I say, if you were a woman, you would say, my husband. You have your own. But anyway, he said, oh, in verse 11, oh, I am is the greatness, power, and the glory, and victory, and majesty, and all that is in heaven and in earth is thine. Thine is the kingdom, O Yahweh. Thou art exalted as head above all. Both riches and honor come of thee. And thou reignest over all. In thy hand is power and might. In thy hand is to make great and to give strength unto all. Now, therefore, our God, we thank thee and praise thy glorious name. But who am I? This is a king talking, because he's talking to the King of Kings, not no Isis. God is the King of Kings. He makes kings, and he makes them, he can bring them up and cast them to the dust. This is what God, the I am that I am, has done and can and will do. And what is my people that we should be able to offer so willingly after this sort, for all things come of thee? In other words, God, I know you gave this. You gave me the strength over my enemies to take these things from them after we defeated them. You defeated them from me. Even when he says go among the myrtle trees and the myrtle trees shake, you do your thing, David. Come on here. Now he says, now for all things come of thee, and thine own have we given thee. For we are strangers before thee and sojourners, as were all our fathers. Our days on earth are as a shadow, and there is none abiding. Why are you going to take the junk off the enemy that you do take? Why are you going to sit up there and let him just pulverize you in many ways with his law enforcement and with his other armies and with his colonizations and all these things? Your days are numbered. Your days are short. Your children has to live. His children, he wants to live, even if it means subduing you. So you're going to have to defend yourself. Oh, but don't turn the other cheek. You got to be like your Jesus. Oh, then you said, vengeance is mine, saith the I. Oh, yes, vengeance is his. He will get vengeance through you. He can get vengeance through anybody. God, you pray, deliver my enemies into my hand. Going to battle or whatever, it doesn't matter how much armament and how many nukes he got. That's just your sight. Even the time when I sit up there, I was on the street, called myself talking to God and talking to people, and this one boy came up to me, not on the street, this was in another place, with a shotgun in my face. My whole being says, don't move. But yet I was at very much peace. What he saw, I don't know. But his eyes opened up so wide, he put that shotgun down through it and took off. This is God. You might not see what he's doing. Don't fear, because he has your back in life as well as death. Or he has your front in life as well as death. God don't need to take you back. That was already done back there. But if you walk in back of God, not going ahead of God, not as the churches say, waiting until death do you part. No, but waiting for God. God has a way. And we have to get back to that time of Israel when God led them through many things, individually or together as a collective. Yes, we have to get back to that thing. Because as long as the enemy can cause you to be Israel, he can cause dissemination among you, set insurgencies among you, give you all kind of things over the media and over everything, and you be so simple that you don't understand it. Why does it say that the law of the Most High maketh wise the simple? But let us continue. It's about the law. That is the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come to God but through it. You have to make up your mind that I'm going to do what the law says. I don't care what Jesus says, or your Hawashah, or your Husha, whatever you call it. I don't care what he says. But I do care what the law says. And when we get into our land, we can do those things without even hesitating. Men will not be with men because they will fear the fact that they won't see the next day once they're discovered. A murderer will not even see the next day if he is discovered. Those who great young men and young boys and all these other things that they do will not see another day if they are discovered in our own land. Among the heathen, they say God's way is not right. But God looks at them and says, are your ways not right? They let a murderer or a rapist or anybody else, he can live for his whole life out, maybe in prison, or maybe with a thing on his foot. But God says, get rid of them, delete them, take them out. That others might fear not to do these things. This is the only way it can happen. And it shall be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. Not an angry mob or a crowd. And then it will be determined whether these persons are guilty or not. And if that person be found innocent and they be found false witnesses, they shall suffer the same sentence as the one they have accused. This is the law. This is what God says. He ain't got time to be wasting with no injections and all that. Just get rid of them the best way you know how, the cheapest and best way you know how. Get rid of them. They don't deserve to live. Oh, you're evil. Oh, so God is evil too in his law. And the man that murdered them and done the things that they did were good, that they should live. How foolish are you, heathenistic nations? You're very foolish. No, their family's going to grieve, holler, whatever, but they had no business doing what they did. Who cares? An innocent person's blood shed on the ground, and yet this man or this woman walks free. 3 meals a day, can sleep in peace and safety as long as they are able to defend themselves in C block with no instruments to kill them or nothing. They even might have protection of the guards because they've done something hideous. But now they say our law enforcement, our crooked law enforcement, our deceitful racist law enforcement, if you demise one of them, you will be deleted. How foolish. This man walks out of his duties to do a thing because of his biasness, and you're going to call somebody else that defends themselves against these people without due process or nothing like that? Oh, you got a problem. Yes, we ready for the Most High to come and deal with you, or else we can deal with you if God deliver you into our hand. And cause us to do the things that you have done unto us. Yes, we will have peace. Yes, we will. But nevertheless, verse 15, we're going to keep going with this thing. But we are strangers before the insurgers, and all our fathers, our days on earth are as a shadow, and there is none abiding. Oh, Yahweh our God, all this store that we have prepared to build thee an house for thy holy name cometh of thy hand, and is all thine own. Know also, my God, that thou triest the hearts and have pleasure in uprightness. God knows your intention. As for me, in uprightness of my heart, I have willingly offered all of these things, and now I have seen with joy thy people which are present here to offer willingly. In other words, oh God, they want to do this. They want to do this. Oh, most holy Yahweh, God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, our fathers, keep this forever in the imagination of the thoughts of the hearts of thy people, and prepare their hearts unto thee, and to give unto Solomon my son a perfect heart. God did do that. And keep thy commandments, thy testimonies, and thy statutes, to do all these things, and to build the palace for which I have made provision. God really made that provision. You deal with translation here. And David said to all the congregation, now bless thee, I am your God. And all the congregation blessed thee, I am their God and their Father, and bowed down their heads and worshiped. All praises to the King of kings. He that ruleth all the earth in righteousness and power and might. Yes, they bowed down and worshiped. And they worshiped the I am and the King. That part was not good. And they sacrifices, for no king is equal unto God. And this was probably how they got the narrative of your Jesus, your Yahushua, your Yahusha. Yes, this is how they got the narrative of it. Something like this. Yes. Now, and they sacrifices unto the I am, and offer burnt offerings unto the I am on the morrow after the day that even 1,000 bullocks and 1,000 rams and 1,000 lambs with their drink offerings and sacrifices, and abundance for all Israel. This would make a herder or a cattle rancher cry. because they just burning it all up. They can't see God. This is the way the heathen are today. They can't burn this stuff toward God. They don't believe God in that area. That's why they invented your Jesus, your Yahushua, your Yahusha. They ain't gonna do it. And 1,000 rams and 1,000 lambs with their drink offerings and sacrifices in abundance for all Israel. God multiplied them with all these things so that they might sacrifice unto him. And did eat the drink before the I Am on that day with great gladness. And they made Solomon, the son of David, king the second time, and anointed him unto the I Am to be chief governor, and Zadok to be priest. No, we're not talking about some sci-fi movie or nothing like that. Then Solomon sat at the throne of the I Am as king. On the throne of the I Am as king instead of David his father, and prospered. And all Israel obeyed him, and all the princes, the mighty men, and all the sons likewise of King David submitted themselves unto Solomon the king. And the I Am magnified Solomon exceedingly in all the sight of all Israel, and bestowed upon him such royal majesty as not been on any king before him in Israel. Thus David the son of Jesse reigned over all Israel. And the time he reigned over Israel was 40 years. 7 years he reigned in Hebron. 33 years reigned he in Jerusalem. And he did in a good old age, full of days, riches, and honor. And Solomon his son reigned in his stead. Now the acts of David the king, first and last, behold, they are written in the book of Samuel the seer. Yes, the book of Samuel, 1st and 2nd Samuel, yes. They are written in the book of Samuel the seer, the prophet, and in the book of Nathan. Now, we do not have that book, the book of Nathan. Where is it? Somewhere in the basement of the Vatican or something, as they often say, or in some white guy's house. And in the book of Gad, the seer. Where's the book of Gad? Where are these books? We know if they do write or translate these books, it's going to have some insertions in it to make themselves look, but you will know, you can identify the insertions just by knowing, reading the law, reading the things that are contained in the law, reading the different historical books, because everything has to be established by 2 or 3 witnesses, yes, or more. Now with all this, with all his reign and his might and all the times that went over him and over Israel and over all the kingdoms of the countries. Yes, now we get into the Chronicles of King Solomon, 2nd Chronicles. And with that, we're going to prepare that after the Sabbath, and which is Sunday, the end of the Sabbath is Sunday evening. This Sabbath will be Sunday evening. It's a new month. It's a new year. This is the month of Abib. Yes. Yes. As soon as you see the trees bud and you see them, things come to life. And it's during what we call the spring. Somewhere in that area. It's usually around this time, yes. That would be the month of Abib coming to pass. That new moon. Yes. Now, and from there, you can understand, you look it up, what month there is. You can't go by the people overseas or the Greco-Roman calendar or some other crazy stuff. The cycle of the moon and sun. And the new moon, my friend, you have greatly erred, is not, the full moon is not a new month. You're in the middle of the month. So you got off on the wrong side of the rock, my friend. But either way, if we do those things that God has prescribed for us and keep his commandments, statutes, and ordinances, we will have peace.
Walk with me.